And that old adage, you're not, you're more. I always get it wrong as well.
That old adage.
As long as it was that old appendage, I don't know.
What's the old adage, Derek? Tell me.
And it was debut boy. It was debutant. I'll say that again. It was
Jermaine Defoe. We'll just stick with that.
I tried to look as if he was going to pass back Barisic's cross from the left. Barisic's cross. Yes. Shitting on a sheet and stalling.
Right over to Katic. There we go.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi folks, and welcome to the next episode of the I Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave. How you doing, Dave?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Not bad. We're just talking about work there, weren't we?
Oh, unfortunately, yes, mate. You've just reminded me that I'm back tomorrow night, but there you go.
I'm back tomorrow morning, so I'll beat you that one.
Aye, okay.
So
enough of this work part. Let's go on to the serious stuff.
Exactly. So a few games to cover this episode. We've got the postponed Cowdenbeath game initially, then the actual proper game, which was just played last night or 2 nights ago, as you were when you listened to it. The Helsinki game, which was a friendly, the Kilmarnock game, and the Livingston game, yes. So, I suppose we just better rattle on and go down the tunnel and onto the pitch.
Yep.
So, as I said, the first game we've got to postpone almost was the Cowdenbeath game, which was meant to be on Friday the 18th of January. It was a pretty late call-off, wasn't it? At 5pm it was called off, and it was due to start at 19:45. Obviously, we've had a wee bit of bad weather over the last couple of weeks with the really icy weather, and they worked tirelessly to get the pitch ready. However, there was a wee section in the corner that just wouldn't thaw out. They even had apparently Jimmy Bell's car on it to put the exhaust fumes on it to try and get it to thaw out that way, but it wasn't to be. It had the Celtic fans obviously claiming conspiracies and the fact that they thought we controlled the weather now as well.
Oh no! You know, I was thinking though, Derek, they could have done it no bother. They could have just got Chris Sutton and Michael Shute to go and talk to it. You know, the amount of hot air that they spout out. But as you say, Derek, it was a bit of a late call off, wasn't it?
I think it brings into question again the validity of the winter break. Now, obviously, we really needed a break. We had played 39 odd games, I think. Our arse was hanging out us, I think. But I think that part of the reason is because they've crammed in the League Cup, they've crammed in a lot of other games to accommodate this winter break. So we've got obviously 3 weeks in January where we don't have any games. So it's just typical that it was the first game of the Scottish kick-off again, and it was postponed. Right, yeah. But I suppose you've got to look at it at the point of the safety of the players. We wouldn't have been too happy if one of our players went over and broke a leg on a hard surface like that.
Yeah, I know. It was, as I say, I just wish that it had been, given, because there was a lot of fans that actually already left, Derek, you know what I mean, that were travelling for quite some distance to get there and stuff, so pretty bad timing there. I think they could have maybe called it off a bit sooner, eh?
Quite possibly, but it was called off by a local referee, which was strange wording the way it was reported, but apparently that's as per normal, and it had a lot of, as I said, the conspiracy theorists going, having their tongues wagging, but nothing will change there. Yeah. So it meant a bit of a strange one. It meant that on Sunday the 20th of January, the arranged game against HJK Helsinki was a friendly that was arranged as part of the Morelos deal. it had more or less a first team playing, certainly to start off with, and a lot more players got a run out than should have. Certainly, Gerrard played it as a game of two halves, where he changed the complete team at half time. To get everyone a bit of a run out. We obviously came back from apparently a tough almost like a pre-season again in Tenerife. Some of the players never really got a pre-season, so certainly this was a wee good warm-up for them. 21,000 fans attended, which is incredible for a Sunday game, especially a friendly as well. But I think the fact that the postponed game played a lot into that as well. In terms of the game, we won 3-2. Not that the kind of result really means much. It was a friendly at the end of the day. It was just a good excuse to get the players a bit more practice, warmed up a wee bit. Anyway, Arfield scored on the 28th minute, and that old adage, you're never more vulnerable when you've just scored a goal. And you know, that's what happened right after Arfield scored, because they drew level at one each. Katic had a header in the 52nd minute. This was a brand new team, as I said, into the second half, and they equalised 2 minutes later again. It's been a feature of our team this season, hasn't it? Which is a bit disappointing. But anyway, Cowdenbeath, the captain for the second half, popped up and he scored a goal on the 75th minute to make it 3-2, and that's how the game ended up. Yes. So
a useful run out, I would say, Derek. I mean, we really weren't looking too much into the result and stuff like that. I think because we never had that cup game, it was quite a useful run out for all the players to get a sort of semi-competitive match, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as I said, more players played in that game than would have normally. I think they were going to put out a second string team for this game and give them the full 90, but obviously the likes of Davis, who had just signed, and Defoe had just signed as well, they needed a wee bit of game time, and as we'll get into, they're still a wee bit match rusty. So we'll go into the actual proper games now, which was on Wednesday the 23rd of January. It was away to Kilmarnock on their plastic pitch, and really disappointingly we lost 2-1, and it ultimately undone all the great work we'd done in the Old Firm game, didn't it?
It did, Derek. I'm sure. I mean, with me and you have certainly spoken about it to each other already, and there's been a lot of very disgruntled supporters, as we were as well. I've kind of calmed down a wee bit, Derek, after watching the game again, but certainly got off to a flyer, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, certainly I kind of half watched the first half because RTV, in their wisdom, they decided to do a security update, and it basically killed everybody's logins, and people had to re-log in and re-sign their passwords up, and which never really worked. So that never got kicked back in until the second half. But certainly I went back and watched the first half again, so I seen it in that kind of same, a slightly different perspective, looking out for certain things which we'll get into. But certainly we lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Worrell, McCauley, Halliday, Jack, Davis, Arfield, Kent, Morelos and Defoe. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Lafferty, Flanagan, McCrory, Katic, Cowdenbeath and Koulibaly. Obviously the big surprise starters were Davis and Defoe. We expected them to come on at some point. We didn't expect them to start, and we changed shape and formation, and it kind of got people's backs up straight away, didn't it? And I felt that was a bit harsh, to be honest.
Derek, I was maybe one of those people. I still have got my own views on where, when and how to play Jermaine Defoe, but I'm not the manager of Glasgow Rangers, Derek, but I certainly myself personally would have stuck with the same team that played Celtic or as close to. But I do know that the manager, he must have been kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, like I said, because so many people have been talking, especially about Jermaine Defoe playing, that a lot of people are wanting to see him play. So he's maybe thought to himself, right, we'll go for it and we'll put the two up front. But unfortunately, it didn't pay off, did it?
Well, it did to an extent in the first 22 minutes, which was very strange, and we'll get into this in terms of the players and their attitudes and things, but certainly it was a good first 22 minutes, and we'll get into the reason why the whole thing changed. We had a lot of possession, knocking the ball about, really not giving Kilmarnock a lot of time in the ball. On the 9th minute, Kent had a free kick from the left from 20 yards, and it was right at the keeper. And then on the 11th minute, we got our goal, and it was debutant Jermaine Defoe making it 1-0 to Rangers. It was a good hold-up play on the right-hand side, work to the centre, shot from 25 yards by Halliday. It was a great save, rebounds out to Tavernier, who hits a close-range shot and had another save from the keeper. Ball spills into the box, shot was flicked up over the Killie defender into the path of Defoe, and at the back post he puts it home. Great poacher's goal. As I said in the post-match, it was a reason why we bought him, and I never realised this stat as well until yesterday, that it was Defoe's 6th debut goal he had scored.
Yeah, that's right. No, I knew that, because as I say, the commentary that I was listening to, I think on BT, it was the first thing that the commentator said, that it was no surprise he scored in his debut, because he's done it for 6 out of 7 clubs or something like that he's played for. So
a crazy stat, isn't it? So,
yep. No, it was, as you say, Derek, he is a poacher extraordinaire. I was delighted with the goal. I was delighted the way he scored the goal, because I thought he was going to feed off any scraps in the box. So, and as you say, at that point, Derek, there was only one team in it. We were putting them under pressure. We were controlling the midfield, and at that point, we really did think it can't be very long until we get another one.
No.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out like that.
No. So in the 20th minute, there was a corner in from the left far post. Morelos, under pressure, got a great head to it and smashes it off the post, and the keeper was beat. And really, if that had went in, I think the game would have been completely different for me. It was just a really, really unlucky chance. But then 2 minutes later, we basically committed footballing suicide, didn't we? And well, one player did, and it was a Killie goal, and basically Joe Worrell fucked up. There's no easy way to say that. Under no pressure whatsoever, he casually strolling the ball out of our half, tried to turn back. It looked as if he was going to pass back to the keeper. Eamon Brophy, who was a good 20 yards away from him, managed to nip in there, steals the ball from him, runs with the ball and hits a shot into the back of net. Absolutely atrocious from Worrell. And as I said in the tweet, one good game against Celtic doesn't make a player, and I'm sorry, Worrell has offered nothing since he has came to Rangers, and he's no way a £10 million player.
There is a touch of the Lorenzo Amoruso about him, Derek. I think if he was to basically just concentrate on the very simple things of defending, as in clearing the ball away or heading the ball away, I think he's a pretty decent defender. But I think he actually thinks that he's a better player than he is. And it was just football and suicide, wasn't it? It was an absolute shocker. And as you say, completely sell the jerseys. And, a team, Kilmarnock, were never in it at that point, Derek. And from that point on, we just looked we looked a complete shell at the back just after that one really, really poor decision and one really, really poor bit of play by one man. It was just a disaster. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, the benefit of hindsight and having to watch the first half back again, I'd made a point of watching Worrell throughout the first half until this point, and basically every time he got the ball, it was a very short sideways or backwards pass. He was passing the ball no further than 5 yards away from him. He seemed absolutely shit-feared to pass the ball. And I don't know what that's all about, because, he comes with a great reputation. He's played for a decent team. He's played for us now, and he just doesn't look like a player at all with any sort of confidence. And as we've said, there was no need to feel like that in the game up until this point, because we were dominating it. So a really, really just baffling decision, and how he wasn't hooked in the game is beyond me, because he never really got any better. And the team absolutely collapsed after that, and basically the confidence was shot, and that's why we lost the game, I think, because we allowed one really, really bad piece of play to get into our heads collectively, which is the even more worrying thing, and every other player seemed to turn off after that.
Here's a question for you, Derek, with regards to Joe Worrell, and with regards to, you made a point there of saying one good game doesn't make a player, talking about the Celtic game.
Yeah.
Now, the one player that I waxed lyrical about in the Celtic game, because they all had fantastic games, but one player that I remember saying to you that I thought was absolutely fantastic in the match, and a player who was omitted from that game, was Ross McCrory. Now, McCrory, I think, is absolutely fantastic at shielding his defence, putting in that first tackle and then the defence being there for any scraps. Do you think what I'm trying to say is, do you think that Worrell looked really good against Celtic, really just because he had Ross McCrory just in front of him to try and win everything in midfield?
I think that's a good point, because it's easy for an average player to look good when the team is completely dominating and he's got players that are playing outstanding around him, and that could have been the case in any. Obviously there was a great feeling about that game, and you tend to overlook any wee niggling issues, I think, when the team's played overall has played so good like that. So it would be interesting, and I can't be bothered doing it, but if we're to go back and look at that game and just specifically look at Joe Worrell's play and see what he done, because bearing in mind Celtic done fuck all in that game to test the defence, didn't they? So it's
well, and again, going back to my point, and as I say, I've watched the Celtic game back since then, and again, I actually think that McCrory was even better in the way I was going on about him in midfield. So, and again, he was missing from the Kilmarnock match also. So again, you can look at a lot of things. I think that had a big part to play in it. To be honest with you, Derek, I didn't think that laddie should be getting dropped in it. I just think he's playing too well, and he's doing too well at shielding our defence. And as I say, he would be one of the first names in the team sheet for me if that was the case. But as you say, it's just one of these things I wanted to throw out there is, do we really, could we play just about anybody half decent in defence, but with McCrory being in front of him the way he's playing the new, it looks to me as if, nearly any one of our defenders would look good at the moment with him playing there. So maybe that's what it is.
Could be. Anyway, the first half rounded out in the 37th minute when there was a first time shot from Kent on the edge of the box, right at the keeper again, but it was a decent effort nonetheless. So into the second half, where it was one each. Disappointing. We had finished off the first half fairly bad. We thought it can only get better, but it never did it. It just probably got worse really from there. There was a few flashing instances, but that was about it. 49th minute was a lovely delivery from Tavernier on the right hand side into the back post. Morelos with a diving header. He tried to header, but ended up using his hands and pushing the ball into the net, and a yellow card was given. Complete stupidity, I thought, because it's one of these silly, things. He's got a needless yellow card, which is just eventually going to rack up the points, and he's going to get a game suspension at some point down the line because of that. So
I think I was more worried with the fact, Derek, it was quite early on in the second half, and I thought the more and more it gets frustrated, there's a chance there could be a wee push here, a wee push there, because that's the type of player that he is. And if what the referees are like just now, the slightest wee thing, he would have had a second yellow card and he would have been off. I think I was more worried about that than anything else. Yeah,
absolutely. And then it had to happen, didn't it? 65th minute, Kelly scored a goal and Jordan Jones. Kent gave the ball away in the Kelly half. One pass to Jones on the halfway line, drove the ball forward. The defence backed off, never put a challenge in, shot from 20 yards in at the back of the net. Now, a lot of people criticising McGregor for this, and I don't think maybe he could have done a wee bit better in terms of a dive and maybe diving earlier, but I thought it was a bloody good shot. And
it was I just think that we're that used to McGregor pulling off these absolute worldy saves, Derek. Every now and again I think we would have thought that it was a wee bit closer to him than we thought that he could maybe have dealt with it, but taking nothing away from Jones, it was a great run and a great shot, and here's hoping he's going to be doing that for us next season.
Absolutely. On the 70th minute, Davis came off and Candace came on. Just after that, it was a free kick floated into the box. Worrell had a header making the keeper make a diving save, and it went out for the corner. The resultant corner knocked in. Morelos had another header and forcing a save from the keeper. And then on the 72nd minute, 2 minutes later, there was a shocker of a challenge on Ryan Jack right in his ankle. No attempt to play the ball at all, and a yellow card was given. It was a red every day of the week for me, wasn't it?
His foot was high, Derek. He didn't go for the ball. He went straight in onto his ankle joint, as clear as day. And as you say, it's a straight red all day. And no, I don't know what the referee was thinking about. I really don't.
Yeah. On the 78th minute, Defoe came off and Lafferty came on, and that's how the game largely finished. We done bugger all in that second half, apart from the chances I highlighted there, and it was extremely disappointing, as I said. Now, 2 points I want to make. The first one was about Jordan Jones. Now, obviously, he caused a wee bit of stushy with the Killie fans for putting a tweet after he signed for us, and he put "We Are the People" at the end, and they all thought it was disrespectful, and we laughed at the Kilmarnock fans over that. Now, some Rangers fans got in an absolute stushy about the fact the way he celebrated allegedly kissing the Kilmarnock badge and running in front of our dugout and going over to his current manager and celebrating like a madman, I think, at the goal and at the end of the game. Now, I just don't understand why fans were getting upset about that. Ultimately, the fans that are getting upset, we laughed at Kilmarnock fans for getting upset over basically the same issue about loyalty to team and things like that. At the end of the day, he's a Kilmarnock player just now. Yes, he signed a pre-contract, but he's a professional player. I would have been highly disappointed if he never gave his all in this game, and I would be disappointed if he done a muted celebration as well, because he's still a Killie player and he's got a duty of service to honour his contract and honour the fans that he's playing for just now. So that shows a kind of testament to the type of guy he is, and you damn fine know he's going to give 100% for us when he does sign for us in the summer.
Yep. Definitely is. I didn't have a problem with it, Derek. It was a quality goal. It was a great goal that he scored there, and I think he was maybe just kind of showing a wee bit of faith in his manager, because to be fair, it's been Steve Clarke that's made him the player that he is for last season, and this season he's been one of his key players. So he goes and he celebrates his manager. He's also been getting it, major stick for all the Killie fans since he put that tweet out, didn't he? So he's maybe wanting to sort of prove that he is, there for 100% for the rest of the season. So it really didn't bother me. I was just more annoyed with the fact of how poor we played, Derek, more than anything else, especially in the second half.
I think that's what some fans had lost perspective. I was pissed off at allowing Jones to basically make that charge and run and get the shot off in the first place, rather than how he celebrated. So, second point I want to make, and it's caused another controversy as well, is the fact that, kind of alluding to what you were saying as well with McCrory getting dropped, is that we changed our system and our personnel to suit the two new players, the big name players as it were, coming into the team. Now, I can see a point in some respects, and it was a new system we were trying out, but they had played, I can imagine they were working on that when they were out in Tenerife there. We've played the exact same way, regardless of what system we've played this season so far. When we're playing 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 4-2, 4-4-2, 3-4-2, whatever it's been. And we've played that same way. We've allowed an issue to get into our heads, and collectively the team just down tools and they don't try. And we'll get into that in the Cowdenbeath game. That's what happened as well in the second half of that game. So it doesn't matter what system we play. These players have got some sort of attitude or lack of belief in themselves that they can play for 90 minutes. And quite clearly this game, they played for 22 minutes and allowed a mistake to get into their heads. So I just found that a wee bit incredulous that some fans were really raging about that. And you try and keep a winning team together as long as you can until it starts to go wrong. But you've got to remember the last competitive game we played was 3 weeks prior to that. So there was no momentum there to keep going because it was 3 week gap. So I don't know, that point is mute to me as well.
I don't know, Derek. I'm still, you see, we've went over this before, and again, I'm not a manager, but I see Jermaine Defoe as being the perfect player to bring on in a match when we're struggling to score a goal. Right? That's the way I see it.
That'll be every game.
When we signed Jermaine Defoe, I honestly thought to myself, we've been struggling in certain games when we have sort of been all over teams and we just can't put the ball in the back of the net. What a perfect guy to bring on just to try and get anything, in the box, with half an hour to go. Bring him on, when it's 0-0 or whatever. That's genuinely how I saw this going, I honestly didn't think that we would be playing Defoe and Morelos up front together. I really didn't. And as I say, the vast majority of people were thinking that that's what they would do. I honestly didn't think that we would. But again, I still think he was maybe, he was sort of backed into a corner a wee bit. There was, there's such expectation. We've seen Defoe playing and stuff like that, and the English media were all over it as well to see Defoe playing and stuff like that. So I honestly think that if you were to go back and ask Steven Gerrard again, I think he would have went back to his normal 4-3-3 for that game to start off with. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion, Derek. You might disagree with it, but I am in that camp a wee bit, unfortunately. No, that's no what you're saying, but we've all got our opinions, haven't we? And I still see it that way. But again, I'm still more annoyed, obviously, the fact that McCrory wasn't playing that either, because I do think that he'd have made a huge difference if he'd have been playing in that game as well. But again, hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot to prove in the next game, and it was going to be another kind of tough game, wasn't it? Because we've already lost there, and it's another plastic pitch. But it was Sunday the 27th of January, away to Livingston, and we won 3-0. And it was a brilliant performance, surprisingly.
Yes.
We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Worrell, Katic, Barisic, McCrory, Jack, Arfield, Candeas, Morelos and Kent. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Defoe, Davis, Halliday, Koulibaly, Macaulay and Middleton. It was really kind of a night and day performance, wasn't it, all round?
Yes, it was, yep.
Couldn't really argue. So in the 5th minute it was a good movement with Candeas to Arfield, then back to Candeas making a run into the box. Keeper committed himself and Candeas rounds the keeper near the touchline and tries to cross, or maybe even shot, I don't know, but the keeper managed to put it out for the corner. 9th minute was a corner from the right from Barisic. McCrory gets a bullet header to it, but it went wide. 14th minute, Barisic had a cross from the left to the far post. Morelos got his head to it, but it went over the bar. On the 18th minute, there was a shot from Livingston on the edge of the box after a good hold-up play in the box, but it was over the bar. On the 20th minute, Candeas down the right played a quick first-time cross on the ground to Morelos in the centre. First-time shot, it went off the post and then back out and then cleared. But then we broke the deadlock on the 29th minute with Ryan Jack getting his second goal for the club. It was good play, working the ball into the box, ends up knocked out of the box by the defender, rolls to Jack from about 25 yards, hits a trundler on the deck. Should have been a fairly comfortable save from the keeper, but it slips under the body of the keeper and into the back of the net. So a bit of a howler there from the keeper, wasn't it?
It's a conspiracy, Derek. It's a conspiracy.
Yes, obviously Liam Kelly being the in goals for Livingston there. Is he signed permanently for them, or is he on loan?
Yes, I know he has. No, he's signed permanently, yep.
So there you go, and a few people were saying that, but apparently Celtic the day before, something happened with the St Mirren keeper, was it not? This similar happened as well?
That's right, yes. I apparently had a bit of a shocker also, and there's not much said about that, but I'll actually defend Ryan Jack there, Derek. You said it was a trundle. I actually thought he hit it really quite well, but as you say, it was low and it was close to the goalkeeper, so it should have been a save, but he did hit it with some force, and thankfully it was maybe that sort of helped it, the momentum of the ball. Once it hit the goalkeeper, it sort of slid under him and into the back of the net. But really at that point, Derek, it was well deserved. We were well on top and we were really forcing the play, so absolutely delighted, and as you say, second goal for Ryan Jack. Yep.
To round out the first half, on the 36th minute, there was a free kick to Livingston on from about 30 yards. It was floated goal bound but fisted away by McGregor. So got to be fairly content given the fact that we lost the game 1-0 the last time we went to the Tony Macaroni Arena. But it's as always the case, we're always worried that where's the second goal going to come from, because it's not scoring the first goal. We've found it's the second goal that's a problem. But I don't think we really need to wait too long, because in the second half we got a fairly early goal. Just before that though, on the 46th minute, we went down the right hand side with Tavernier playing a great ball into the middle of the box for Kent, who it's a first time shot and it was just over and wide. He kind of really had to hit the target from there, because he was quite close. And
he was unlucky with that one, Derek. I think we were all expecting him to score that, that first one, but thankfully we didn't have to wait long for him to make amends, did we?
No, 2 minutes later he got a goal and made it 2-0. Great play down the right again with Cowdenbeath to Tavernier. Tavernier gets the ball into the box, cuts it back for Arfield, who has a great shot, but it was saved by the keeper. Comes back out to Kent and he rifles it high into the net. Brilliant goal all round. Just a well worked goal down the right hand side.
Yep, definitely. And a wee mention for Morelos as well, because when Arfield had the shot, it was going straight for the keeper, but Morelos kind of got in front of it and tried to flick it also, and that might have put the goalkeeper and defender off, because it was them that missed it and it rebounded to Kent, who absolutely thundered it into the net. And again, it was one of them, Derek, that he wasn't that close, was he? And with the speed that the ball came out, you thought that's going to go anywhere, but thankfully he had it totally, inch perfect right into the top corner, an absolute belter of a goal, and no more than we deserved, really, because we really came out in the second half going for that second goal and absolutely delighted, they were able to capitalise on that.
Yeah, absolutely. On the 69th minute, there was a long deep ball from the right into the centre of the box. Livingston keeper comes to punch it, doesn't get it cleanly, bounces and allows Morelos to get the ball and to have a slight turn and shoot, but it went wide. On the 72nd minute, it was another long deep ball into the middle of the box from the right, headed by Morelos, but it was off the head of the Livingston defender and out for the corner. Now, I don't think that ultimately resulted from the corner, but it was a minute later and Morelos ended up getting his goal to make it 3-0. In the Livingston half, Arfield plays a superb through ball to Morelos, who was basically 1v1 with the keeper, rounds the keeper and shoots into the back of the net from a fairly tight angle on the right. Brilliant goal, wasn't it?
Derek, again, I actually think it was an absolutely fantastic goal. I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, as you say, I actually thought that Arfield had quite a quiet game, but then that ball was absolutely sheer class. It was just a quick, and split second glance up, first time ball through. Morelos stayed on side. But you've got to look at it, Derek, the sheer pace and the power that he run in. He took one touch, which was absolutely, just took the ball just wide of the goalkeeper. But for him to hit the ball so hard from such a tight angle, and there was never any doubt in the guy's mind that the guy is absolutely sensational, Derek. He really is. It was an absolutely fantastic goal, absolutely tremendous. It was, a lot of people saying he's tucked it away for a tight angle. Watch it again, because the ball is moving away for that goal every sort of millisecond. It's moving away, and for him to take that first time and hit it perfectly into the net, it was his technique was absolutely fantastic. It was a tremendous goal for him to score. Absolutely brilliant.
Yep, superb. And the kind of one disappointing element of it, though, is the fact that a bunch of fans spilled onto the park again to hug Morelos. Now, I know what people are going to say, you're only celebrating a goal, it's nothing bad, but they've got to realise it's just ammunition ammunition for the haters of our club. Now, bearing in mind it is an actual offence, and regardless whether you think it's right or wrong, there's an offence to an actual criminal offence to actually enter the field of play if you're a spectator. Now, all that's going to happen if you're caught, and they're quite right, and they're well within their rights to lift you for it, you will get lifted. You will then get a banning order from the game, and once again our club and our fans are going to have more scrutiny on them, as well as tighter security the next time they come round to play. And I'm pretty sure people have seen it, is that the security around the Union Bears and most of our away fans as well is a lot more stringent now because of these incidents that's happening. And as I said, it just brings unwanted attention to our club. And I know it's not the worst thing in the world, but you've got to think about what age are we living in here. It's all security conscious as well, and it's just silly. I can understand the elation of a last minute winner, but as I've said plenty of times before, I've been in crowds where we've scored a last minute winner and we've went off our heads, but never once has my emotions overtaken me to run onto the park. I don't understand that thinking, my friend. For me, Derek, this is a new thing, because you're talking about last gasp winners, and there was no more of a last gasp winner when we beat Celtic in the cup final when Peter Lovenkrands scored. Do you know what I mean? Or when Morris Edu scored and we won 1-0
at Ibrox when we beat Celtic, and there was no sort of running onto the pitch here. I did notice, again, maybe this is me just sounding like a crab old bastard, but I did notice that the vast majority of the folk that ran onto the pitch all looked about 15-year-old. But, these boys maybe don't have the experience of what we do of how the anti-Rangers bias in this country works, especially with the media, with everything. And the first thing that I thought to myself is, oh, here we go, here's more bad press for our supporters here as soon as they done it. It was the first thing that went into my head, Derek, and I'm sure you were the same, and all the older bears out there were saying it exactly the same. Just think about it, lads. See if it happens. Just actually think about it. Don't think about, it's great to celebrate in the stand, but just think about the negativity that's going to bring on the club as a whole with, especially the media in this country. We should have learned our lesson by now that they're going to try and pick up on anything negative that we do. And unfortunately, that's what's happened again with this one, isn't it? But no, it was silly, but as I say, for me, going back to the goal, Derek, it was fantastic, really, really brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. In the 75th minute, Kent and Morelos came off, and Davis and Defoe came on, so very good use of substitutions there. I felt, the game was done. Get the two players off that are needing a bit of a rest, and get the two players on that are needing some game time. 81st minute, Barisic came off and Halliday came on, and on the 90th minute, the ball was lobbed into our box. The Livy attacker controls it in a quick shot and a great save from McGregor. He had absolutely nothing to do all game, and then he manages to pull a save like that off, which was fantastic. And I think, if I've not wrote it down, but I think if my mind serves me right, a couple of minutes later in injury time, Livingston player went down in the box, and some folk were arguing it should have been a penalty, but it was a shoulder challenge. That was it, wasn't it? So
exactly. No, going back to McGregor, Derek, again, the mark, a fantastic goalkeeper to be doing nothing all game and then pull off an absolute world-class save like that. It's just, absolutely fantastic. The concentration levels are at maximum there for him.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And, it just shows you, we'll get into some of the dodgy goalkeeping decisions in the next game, which just shows you how good McGregor is when he's able to do that. So certainly we made amends there slightly for the Kilmarnock game, but obviously still disappointed from the Kilmarnock game. But
no, we were. But a fantastic result, Derek, we must say, because Livingston are a very organised team. They're all big and strong. They don't give away goals. I would actually like to see the last time that Livingston lost 3 goals at home. Or who it was against, because it's something that you really don't hear of. So no, an absolutely brilliant result and a great performance as well.
Yep. So into the next game, which was last night for us, or it'll be 2 nights ago by the time you're listening to this, was on Wednesday the 30th of January, away to Cowdenbeath in the Scottish Cup round 4, and obviously it was the rescheduled game from the 18th, and we managed to win 3-1. So lined up slightly different team: Foderingham, Flanagan, Macaulay, Katic, Halliday, Jack, Koulibaly, Davis, Candeas, Defoe and Lafferty. On the subs bench we had McGregor, Worrell, Kent, Morelos, Arfield and Middleton.
What a bench.
Exactly. So we kind of controlled the first part of the game, and we managed to score a goal on the 12th minute with Andy Halliday. Had a lot of possession, working the ball around the box. Halliday gets the ball from about 25 yards from goal, and round about the centre area, controls it, takes on a player, hits a shot from 20 yards and bounces just before the keeper and right into the bottom right hand corner. Fantastic goal.
Great goal for Andy Halliday, Derek. Yep. He completely sold his man on the edge of the box, didn't he? He looked as if he was going to have a shot, done the feint, completely sent his man the wrong way and hit a fantastic shot. And as you say, bouncing just before it got to the goalkeeper, which sort of aided it in. But, a fantastic strike by him. Delighted because he was the captain for the night as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, was. So, next one was on the 15th minute, and it was the first of a bunch of ludicrous refereeing decisions of the night. The ball was floated into Lafferty on the edge of the box, who headers the ball goalward, clearly hits off the arm of the defender, who had moved his arm into that position, and referee Craig Thompson and the linesman never gave anything for it. Clear penalty every day.
Stonewaller, Derek, totally clear for every single person to see, and as you say, the referee didn't give us anything for it. Ridiculous decision, really was.
Excuse me.
Am I boring you that much?
Absolutely, aye.
Aye.
And then we managed to go 2-0 up though on the 26th minute with Koulibaly scoring. It was a corner in from the right, headed by Lafferty going to the back post. Defoe had a volley while he was falling backwards at close range, hits off the defender, falls to Koulibaly, and from about 6 yards he shoots it high into the back of the net. Another well worked goal.
Yep, it was unlucky for Defoe there, Derek. As you say, he was on the volley, but again, just like what you said, he was off balance. He was falling backwards. Still managed to get his shot off, and thankfully, it just fell the right time, the right place for Koulibaly just to smash it in. So, very good, and just it was good the fact that there was so many people just lining up to try and score there, and it's something else that we've been missing in a few games. So, well done.
Yep, and we rounded out the half with a goal. We rounded out the half with a goal on the 46th minute, and it was Kyle Lafferty this time. It was a long kick out from the keeper to the halfway line, knocked down, which was eventually went to Ryan Jack just past the halfway line, and an outstanding through ball to Lafferty, who beats the offside trap and pokes it past the keeper. Just brilliant vision from Jack there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and pleased for Lafferty as well. Derek, I actually thought had a really good first half for us, leading the line very well, and took his goal superbly. Just managed to overstretch and poke it past the goalkeeper. So good striker's instinct there, and as you say, cruising at that point.
Yep. Wouldn't say outstanding performance, I would say very competent.
Comfortable, Derek. Comfortable, yeah. I think is the word.
You've got to remember, and as I mistakenly tweeted you last night when you were talking about something completely different, is these players are part-time players. They probably had all to a man had a full shift at work today, and they're in the second division at the end of the day. So
yep.
You've got to remember what the level of opposition we're playing against. No disrespect at all. It's just you've got to understand. You're talking about bloody Jermaine Defoe, Kyle Lafferty that are playing against part-timers. We should be 3-0 up, if not more, at that point. The only probably concerning thing again is we should have scored more. Or rather, we should have at least created more on target than we did. And I think...
Yeah, in the first half, you're right, Derek. I think we should have, we had all the ball. Let's be honest. But as you say, it was we should have created a lot more than we did. But at that point, we were thinking it's only half time. This team will, tire even more, so we'll surely have loads and loads of chances in the second half. That's certainly what I thought, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second half, and I don't care what people say, it was an absolute disgrace of a performance in that second half.
It was terrible, aye. It was really, really poor. And what got me, Derek, was my laddie had missed the first half. He was away and he was coming back to watch the second half, and I said to him, it's 3-0. We'll get at least another three or four in the second half, and he sat with me and watched it, and it was just dire, wasn't it? It was a poor second half. Players had just down tools, hadn't they? They thought the game was over, and it'd be fair to Cowdenbeath, they got stuck in, didn't they? And it was just it was a really, really poor second half.
Yeah. 45th minute, it was a drive and run forward for Cowdenbeath. Katic puts a challenge in right on the edge of the box, got a stud to the ball, and for both occasions, the fact that it was outside the box and he did get a touch to the ball, a penalty was given. Absolutely atrocious decision by the referee once again.
The first tackle, Derek, was at least 3 foot outside the box. That's when the initial challenge went in. The momentum kept them going, but the initial challenge was so far outside, it was incredible. And that's, when the referee blew, I thought, that'll be dangerous, it's a free kick, because it'll be near the edge of the box. But no way was that inside the box. And as you say, straight away, no hesitation whatsoever, it was a penalty straight away. So really, really unlucky, to be fair to Katic, because it was a bit of a clumsy tackle, Derek, but nowhere near the box.
No. And then obviously they scored the penalty. However, another completely ridiculous decision by the referee is that the initial penalty was saved by Fotheringham, but the rebound came out to the Cowdenbeath player who put it in the back of the net. But the player who scored, and there was another one as well, was encroaching into the box before the penalty had even been taken. Exactly. So it shouldn't have stood.
Exactly. Absolutely shocking again. And and it was the fact that, that there was no hesitation in the referee, there was no speaking to the linesman, there was nothing, it was just that was the end of. And for there on in, Derek, it was just dire. It really was. And, I don't know what happened to the players at half time, I don't know what was said, I don't know what was what, but it was just really, really poor.
Yep. A minute later, there was a long ball up through the middle and finds Defoe in the box. Hits a shot, but the keeper had closed it down. Comes back out to Candace, who had a shot, but again, the keeper had closed it down and out for the corner. 54th minute was a good ball floated into the box from the right from Flanagan to Candace. Lovely touch to control the shot, but it was right at the keeper. Yeah. 64th minute, Halliday with a short pass back to Fotheringham, who had to come out and kick the ball, and it hit off the closing down attacker, and it was out for the corner. Very lucky, because if that had spun the other way, then it would have been in the back of the net. Fotheringham a few minutes beforehand had done another kind of similar issue as well, where he came charging out of his area to close down a ball, playing the kind of sweeper keeper type thing, and he was kind of caught stranded because the ball spun up and hit off a player. I think it was maybe your defender eventually, and we're lucky we just managed to have cover there to stop the guy shooting. But complete again, so suicidal play from Fotheringham.
It was at that point, and this is how. But sorry, it wasn't that, because Fotheringham had another hairy moment no long after that, and it was at that point my laddie turned to me, Derek, and said to me, "Who would you say your most dodgiest player was?" And at that point, Derek, I was really quite struggling, because I thought, he's having a nightmare. But so's he, and so's he, and so is he. So that shows you the level that we were at, that we were actually talking about who was having more of a nightmare than the other one. But I think at that point it was for Fotheringham that was just shading it.
Yeah. On the 66th minute, Koulibaly came off and Middleton came on. 72nd minute, Davis with a free kick on the left, forcing a save from the keeper. Nobody attacked the ball, and it managed to bounce all the way through, so a bit of fortune there, but unlucky as well at the same time from Davis. 72nd minute, ball put into the back of the net by Cowdenbeath, but correctly ruled offside. However, the initial play before that was extremely sloppy defending between Flanagan and Candace to allow the attacker to nick the ball off them. Really, really poor defending there. 79th minute, the ball was knocked long down the right. A good run by Defoe to keep it in. Cuts inside, tried to play the ball through the defenders, which he did get to. A wee bit of fortune, hits off the leg of the defender. It kind of rolls right to into the path of Davis, who was running at the box, got into the box, and he was clearly brought down by the attacker. And I think it was the kind of trailing, the second leg of the defender that got him. He was certainly caught and he was brought down. Davis, granted, did go down a wee bit theatrically. I thought he flailed his arms up. However, he was clearly taken out nonetheless. Yep. Nothing given.
Nothing. It was as clear as day, Derek. And I text you at that point. I know you text me the same thing that you've just seen there, but it was regardless if he went in theatrically or no, it was a Stonewall penalty again. At that point, so again, some really poor refereeing decisions there.
Yep. And 84th minute, Jack shot from 20 yards after the ball worked from the left, skiffs the side of the right hand post and out for the goal kick. And on the 86th minute, to round off the game, Candace came off, and Jordan Houston, a youngster, made his debut for the club as well. So good to see him get a wee bit of a run out, and hopefully there's more to come from him. We've never obviously seen much. I think he nearly scored towards the end of the game. He was through in, but I think it got put out for the corner. But maybe a wee bit more composure and he might have got there. But
Derek, whilst we're talking about refereeing decisions or official decisions, Jermaine Defoe also scored a perfectly legitimate goal near the end of the match, where he sort of kept himself on side and managed to a pretty good finish low past the goalkeeper, and for some totally unknown reason offside was given. So, I had been quite hard on Defoe at that point, but then when he scored that goal, I thought, it was a really good, considering how late in the game it was. Everybody had down tools. He kept his head and scored a perfectly good goal. And again, it was, ruled offside. So, we're maybe, we were disappointed in the level of performance by the team in the second half. But going on what should have happened, first of all, it was never a penalty for Cowdenbeath. We should have had 2 Stonewaller penalties, and Jermaine Defoe scored a perfectly legitimate goal. So, any one of them, Derek, and, we win 4-0 or 4-1, then the score, the performance doesn't seem as bad. But I think just with the poor play and the shocking refereeing decisions also, it was, it was a pretty poor, especially in the second half, and, the refereeing was just terrible.
Yeah. One thing that came out of this as well is some fans were starting to blame the pitch in the second half, the fact that it was getting worse as the game went on. I'm sorry, but the pitch had got really fuck all to do with the way we played in the second half, because Cowdenbeath managed to play in it. And some folk were saying, they never really actually played football, they were just hoofing it up the park. Well, they done what they had to make them play better, and that's what Rangers should have done. We've got more than enough experience in that team to adapt to different pitches, and you can't use plastic pitches, you can't use churning up pitches or whatever as an excuse, because it's the same pitch for both teams and you've got to adapt to it. Rangers never done that. And as I said, going back to the whole thing about formations and stuff like that, we have seen the same team, the same formation, play different formations, and we've all had the same symptoms every single time, where the team just seems to lack belief or down tools or have an attitude issue. And this second half was once again that same issue. We just failed to play. So there's something in the team, and I don't care. It doesn't matter what formation we're playing or what. The team just doesn't react well to it. But as I said, we got through the game nonetheless, and I suppose at the end of the day, that was the only thing that mattered. So in the table, it leaves us played 23, won 13, drawn 6, lost 4, scored 47, conceded 18, goal difference plus 29, and on 45 points. Now we're joint second with Killie. We're on top because we've got a plus 16 better goal difference than them. Celtic won their game in hand, so they're 6 points ahead. Again, not an insurmountable gap to claw back, and there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in this league. We just need to keep up our consistency.
Going by, I was speaking to a few people that actually watched the Celtic game, and apparently St Johnstone had hit the post 2 or 3 times before Celtic scored the first goal. So apparently it wasn't all cut and dry like it was. But they've to be fair to St Johnstone, they've been playing well recently. But if you look at the games that Celtic have played, Derek, since the split, they've had Airdrie, they've had St Mirren, they've had St Johnstone, and was it Hamilton Accies as well. So 2 teams at the bottom of the league, a team in the first division, and then St Johnstone at home. So all games that I would expect our team to win quite comfortably as well. So we'll wait and see what happens when they start to play some of the teams at the top of the league. I don't think it's all cut and dry, I really don't. But again, Derek, as we've been saying for the start, we just need to concentrate on our games, and that everything else will take care of itself. We really need to make sure that we win. That's why that Kilmarnock game was a really, really disappointing result for us. So here's hoping that we can just build on this, especially the Livingston performance, and keep going and keep winning our games.
Absolutely. So the next games to come, we play on Saturday, which is the 2nd of February, at home to St Mirren. It's a 1500 kick-off. That's the first home game of the new year, so I believe the Loving Cup ceremony will be held at that game. On Wednesday the 6th of February, we're away to Aberdeen. That's a 1945 kick-off. Saturday the 9th of February, which is away to Killie, which is the 5th round of the Scottish Cup. A completely shocking kick-off time, 5:15 in the evening. Ridiculous decision to put on a game. I don't know why.
Well, it'll be for TV. That's why, Derek. It'll be offered television. So
as usual, no thought to fans though. I mean, we want to have a Saturday night rather than watching football, but that's maybe just me. I don't know.
No, that's definitely just you. I'm delighted, Derek, because I'm night shift, so it means I can sleep and then get up and watch it. So I'm quite happy.
Oh well, as long as you're happy, Dave.
Exactly, that's all that matters.
And then following that is the next week is Saturday the 16th of February at home to St Johnstone, and that's back to a normal time of 3 o'clock. So a lot of games to come, important games. We just, as you said, we need to concern ourselves with ourselves and keep on plodding on and making sure we get our results, and
exactly.
We can worry about Celtic later. So
yep.
On to now the classic match.
And then it is. The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
So Dave, you've gone back to the year 2000 again. You seem to like that year.
I do, Derek. It's again, this is going by a period that I was at. Basically hardly missed a match, so it was good for me to go back and watch these matches. So the game that I am taking us to is on the 19th of August 2000. At Ibrox, when we took on Dunfermline. Dunfermline at that point was it was the two Jimmies in charge, Calderwood and Nicol, and of course Rangers under the helm of Dick Advocaat at that point. So the Rangers team on that day: Stefan Clausen goals, Fernando Rickson, Lorenzo Amoruso, Bert Konterman, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was playing at left back that day for us. Barry Ferguson, George Alberts, Tugai and Neil McCann, and then up front Rod Wallace and Billy Dodds. So some absolute fantastic players in there. Some notable players for Dunfermline: Jason Dare,
it's there.
Ian Ferguson playing, Barry Nicholson, ex-Rangers player, and on the bench was Owen Coyle, who came on and played the vast majority of the game because of injury. But Rangers anyway, in the first few minutes, just basically going for it. Some absolutely fantastic play in the second minute, involving about 7 players in total, which basically ended up to George Alberts, and he put a fantastic cross, which the Dunfermline defender just managed to get ahead to it. Really, really fantastic play. And interchanging play in midfield was superb by Rangers. It really was. Barry Ferguson and George Alberts were just tremendous. And then it was headed out for a corner again, flashed in there, and a powerful header by Lorenzo Amoruso, which managed to deflect out for another corner. And then just about an identical corner in again, Amoruso with another header just over the bar and out. Really unlucky. Should have really took the lead by then. And then on the 7th minute, it was Tugai who had a shot outside the box, which was saved by the goalkeeper. And then on the 10th minute, Rangers actually took the lead, so we didn't have to wait too long.
Dodds squeezed through from McCann, looking for a penalty kick, and it's given by Kenny Clark against Jason Dare. McCann certainly got on the wrong side of the Dunfermline player there. There was tugging going on well outside the box. That was the point at which McCann hit the ground. There'll be debate about that because the original offence seemed to take place well outside the area. But Kenny Clark had no second thoughts. Penalty kick given, and George Alberts with a chance to give Rangers the lead. Pretty unconvincingly, he does so. Rautenbeck chose to dive the right way. He got contact, but the ball slithered under his body, and Rangers won ahead with 10 minutes gone.
It was a through ball by Billy Dodds to Neil McCann, who was brought down by Jason Dare right on the edge of the box. Derek, a lot of people were saying it was maybe just outside, kind of right on the box, but the referee gave the penalty to Rangers, and there was going to be only one outcome, because the hammer steps up and fires the ball underneath the goalkeeper. Wee bit unlucky, he did get a hand to it, but there's no way he was stopping that. He fired it in there, and it made it 1-0 to Rangers at that point. But Dunfermline, who had never been in it, actually scored almost straight away.
Matai. Dutchman against Dutchman, Matai, and that's a good ball in, and it's the equaliser, and it's the teenager Stephen Boyle who got a touch to it, and Stefan Klos couldn't keep it out.
There was a cross for the left hand side and headed in by the youngster Boyle past Stefan Klos to make it 1-1, and that was really Dunfermline's only chance at that point, and unfortunately for us they managed to score. But again, we came back out there. Neil McCann with a few mazy runs, a few crosses into the box, Billy Dodds with a scooping header which was just over the bar a few minutes later after that. But on the 21st minute we did go back in front.
Van Bronckhorst, McCann for Dodds, first time layoff for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. That's a wonderful goal. So simple for Van Bronckhorst's first goal of the season. A lesson in passing and movement, this. And it was all started by Van Bronckhorst. Played the pass to McCann, he was off and running. Chipped in by McCann for Dodds, the first time layoff. And Van Bronckhorst waited his moment before placing the ball in the net off the underside of the crossbar.
It was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst on the left-hand side to Neil McCann on the wing. He chips the ball into Billy Dodds on the edge of the box, who plays an absolutely fantastic first-time ball back to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, who had continued his run, and he sort of slammed the ball high past the goalkeeper right into the roof of the net. Sensational goal by Van Bronckhorst. His overlapping play was superb. That made it 2-1 to Rangers. And then just after the goal scorer for Dunfermline, the young boy Boyle, actually had to go off injured, and he was replaced by Owen Coyle, who we all know. But Owen Coyle had an absolute mare straight away, his first touch of the ball.
Rautenbeck finds Coyle, dangerous one, beyond Matai. It breaks for Tugai. Billy Dodds, number 3 for Rangers, and the goals just can't stop coming for Billy Dodds. 8 for the season in 7 games. But this all started with the ball being given away by Owen Coyle, just on as a sub, hadn't got his touch. And you don't really want to give too much room to Billy Dodds. When he sniffs a chance, he tends to take it, and that's exactly what happened here. Found himself just a glimmer of a chance, and immediately it was drilled across Rautenbeck into the corner. 3-1 Rangers.
He passes the ball straight to Tugai, who picks it up and plays it into Billy Dodds on the edge of the box, who turns and has a low shot past the goalkeeper into the back of the net to make it 3-1 to Rangers. Absolutely fantastic stuff. You know, the slightest wee chance, the slightest wee mistake, and we were on it, bang. And at that point, Billy Dodds really was the main man up front for us, Derek. He had scored 8 goals in 7 games for us. He was prolific for us, especially in that season. And then to round off half-time, Dunfermline with a half chance, Jason Dare hits a shot just past Stefan Kloss's post, very, very close, but we went in 3-1 up at half-time. Then, straight into the second half, again, we were relentless.
Tugai, it's Neil McCann. Rod Wallace awaits. You could see that one coming. 3 minutes only gone in the second half, and from 3-1 it's now 4-1. And again, it's Neil McCann who's doing so much of the damage to Dunfermline. He'd wandered across from left to right, and the right foot's not too bad, is it? Over the head of Marco Rautenbeck, and that was on a plate for Rod Wallace to score his second goal of the season.
Billy Dodds played the ball back to Tugai, the first time through ball to Neil McCann. He gets to the byline and puts a fantastic hanging cross right over to the front post, and who was there? Rod Wallace to head it home straight away. It was the 48th minute of the match, and Rangers made it 4-1. And at that point, we really thought it was going to be a cricket score. Fantastic move. The play with two guys to see McCann with the first time ball, a fantastic ball over, and Rod Wallace there, poacher at the front post there, at the back post to head it in, fantastic. Just not long after that was a corner by Van Bronckhorst, and again Amoruso with a header, but straight at the goalkeeper. Bullet header, but unfortunately it was right at the goalkeeper, managed to scramble away. Amoruso really could have had a hat-trick at that point. Constant attacking play by Rangers, another corner and another powerful header by Lorenzo Amoruso just over the top of the bar again. Really unlucky, it wasn't his day. And then a possible penalty. Neil McCann pulled back in the box. Certainly looked like a penalty to me, but just like our Cowdenbeath game last night, wasn't given. McCann again, constant danger man. He was sensational in this game. Picks up the ball at the edge of the box and tries to chip the goalkeeper, but he manages just to get a hand tape. Really unlucky. And then who comes on for his debut in this game, Derek, but a very young Peter Lovenkrands, who comes on for Neil McCann. At that stage, McCann, in my opinion, had been man of the match at that point. He was superb. Then Tugai puts in a fantastic ball to another substitute who just came on, and Andre Kanchelskis. He was through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, but shoots straight at him. He really should have done a bit better with that. Still 4-1. We should have been about 5 or 6 up by this point. And then the last chance really of the game, Billy Dodds with a great chance after picking up the ball on the edge of the box, shoots. It's saved by the legs of the goalkeeper and out. So that's how the game then finished, Derek. A great display. As I say, we should have really scored about 6 goals in that game. And in my opinion, Neil McCann was absolutely sensational. And during the commentary, there was a lot of references made to the fact that Coventry City were apparently trying to buy him for about £5 million back then, but he certainly was absolutely sensational. So, like I said, if you get the chance to go back and watch that match, there's some fantastic players on show. Getting to see the likes of George Alberts, Barry Ferguson, Tugai and Van Bronckhorst playing, but Neil McCann was sensational on that point. So go back onto YouTube. It was a great game to watch.
Yes, a great game. It's good. I'm going through the advocate years on the Heart and Hand Patreon just now, and obviously I've got past all the good games and now into the bad games, so it's good to remember the decent advocate games anyway. So
definitely, yeah.
Yep. So we'll have another classic match in the next episode. It's now time to move on to the news. Really, we've only got mainly transfers to deal with this.
Which is great, huh? Yeah, fantastic.
Very, very strange. A lot of outgoings, mind you, not on loans, yes. But we'll get into that. But a couple of pieces of news. Firstly, sadly, since the last episode, Morag McNeil passed away earlier this month. She was the landlady to more than 100 youth players at her home in Mulgai, and she was actually hired by Sandy Jardine more than 10 years ago. So a lot of clubs have got them where they employ a local to put the youngsters up, and she obviously having more than 100 players there, certainly reading all the tributes that the Rangers fans, Rangers players that knew her was fantastic. So really sad news, really sad to see. Next one here is Dave King has completed his £19 million offer for shares that him and the Three Bears don't control. Really kind of unsure what the next step now is in relation to it. I suppose we're just waiting to see who accepts it and who says no to it, but apparently it's basically postponed an up-and-coming court hearing that he had in relation to contempt of court, because he's now obviously made the offer. So again, doesn't really affect us that much. It's really down to Dave King, and as we've said previous times, the offer was for 20p a share when the current shares are at 34 or 35 pence. So
that's right. So it's very unlikely that anybody's going to accept that, Derek, isn't it? So a bit of a strange ruling that he had to do it, but he's done it. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, eh?
Yep, absolutely. So into transfer news now, and one that's just broke tonight is that we have penned Glenn Kamara to bring him in just now. He was obviously signed a pre-contract to come in the summer, but I think we've paid between around 50,000 and 100,000 to pay off his contract, and he should be coming in very, very shortly in the next day or so. So There was rumours going back about a week or two that Dundee were wanting Ryan Hardy and or Ross McCrory in on loan, which was never going to happen. So we've obviously paid them money to effectively pay off his contract.
I can see tonight, actually, Derek, that Dundee have signed quite a few players on loan, so no doubt they would be looking for some cash, to make sure that went through. So, like we said before, Derek, I don't know much about this guy, Glenn Kamara. I honestly can't say that I'm really been, I've watched him play, but obviously Steven Gerrard rates him highly. And he's brought him in, but actually, while we're saying that, I've had a wee text just on my phone there from a friend of the pod, Ewan, just to say, looks like we're signing Kamara, exactly what we're needing, another midfielder, so that we could play our 0-10-0 formation, but you've got to trust what the manager says, don't you, and what he thinks, and he obviously thinks that he can bring something to the squad, so here's hoping he is a big success, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 23, so certainly got a lot of years ahead of him if he can play that good. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Ryan Hardy there. He's actually signed a contract extension to keep him at Ibrox until the summer of 2020, which is good.
Yes.
He was obviously recalled initially to go to Tenerife with the club, but he's actually been then farmed back out on loan to Livingston for the rest of the season. So,
which I think is a really good move, Derek, because he came back for that injury, and he was back in the team and he was scoring goals as well, so I think that's fantastic for us and obviously good for Livingston as well, and a really good move because it shows you that the manager also rates him very highly, and he's proven it, Derek. He's proving it at the highest level possible that he's scoring goals, so really good for both clubs, I think.
Yep, absolutely. We have signed 22-year-old keeper Andy Firth on a 18-month deal. I think he's had previous experience with Gerrard.
Yes.
And I think that's on the back of the fact that Jack Anick has basically extended his loan at Scunthorpe. It was meant to be until January, but it's extended till the end of the season, so I can't see him coming back to Ibrox. And also Robbie McCrory and Andrew Dallas have joined Morton on loan to the end of the season as well, so certainly good for them to go and get experience, and we need that cover as well.
Yep.
And keepers
also Derek, Jordan Rossiter,
yes, signed
for Bury on loan also. There was speculation linking him actually with a move to Dundee United, but get it right up them. I would rather he was signing for a team in League 2 than signing for them. So again, a player, Derek, that we know is a really, really good player. We know there's a lot of talent there. I think he needs a good run of games, doesn't he, just to totally prove his fitness, not just to us, but I think to himself as well. So you can see how well Greg Docherty's done down playing in that league, so here's hoping that Rossiter can emulate that as well.
Yeah, I think for obvious reasons why we didn't want him to go to Dundee United on loan, but people were moaning on Twitter, and that seems to be what people do on Twitter these days, but that he should be going to a better level than that. But at the end of the day, if he can't cut it in the Scottish Premier League, then he needs to, as you said, build up his fitness, and he needs to maybe drop down a level to build that up first, and then come back and see, because certainly so far what we've seen, his body can't handle first team football, so he really needs to work on that. And put it this way, if he breaks down again when he's on loan, can't see any way back from our team. Sad, obviously, but as we've said before, there's a reason why we got him in the first place. Kind of much like Michael Ball as well. He was the big up and coming talent in England, and he was just plagued with injury, which is part of the reason why we got him as well. But
we just have to hope it works out for him, and he gets a good number of games, because it must be psychological for him as well, Derek. He must know that himself, that he needs a run of games just to to be completely fit mentally and physically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He was also linked to apparently Motherwell and Fleetwood Town were interested in taking him loan as well. So Motherwell would have been a no-starter, I think, to put him in the same league. And Fleetwood Town, obviously, the connections there with Joey Barton. So
yeah, yep.
Yep, and the last main signing we've made is the youngster Matt Polster. The American defender we had in trial has been offered a deal and a work permit granted and confirmed. So basically just a formality of waiting on international clearance, which should be granted no bother. But he's already been, I think, paraded pictures at Ibrox.
And he said he has been capped at full international level and very highly rated, Derek. So here's hoping that's another gem that we've found there. Obviously, I'm sure he can play right back or in midfield. So versatile player, and the vast majority of American players have always done well for us, haven't they? So here's hoping he continues that.
Yeah, and have you seen his girlfriend, by the way?
No, I've not.
Woofed, go and check her out.
Give me a second.
Swing, swing, showing.
Woofed. Well, ding dong. That's all I can say, right? Okay.
Yeah. So, plus as well, you've got to kind of think that's surely the end of Flanagan playing with Rangers. He's never, I think the weight's too much for him. He's not a great footballer, as it were, and obviously with the cover there. When
he first came in, Derek, he looked as if he could have, been quite a useful player for us, but he's just went backwards and backwards and backwards, and he does look a bit of a liability now, doesn't he? Which is quite worrying, especially the last night against Cowdenbeath. He really did look pretty poor, pretty shaky, especially at that level. So, the jury's definitely out on him, Derek. But as you say, this guy might be coming in as cover for Tav. Who knows? A few ex-players though, Derek, that are away. I can see that St Johnstone have actually signed Sean Goss on loan. They've also signed Cammy Bell on loan, an ex-player, and I also just seen there a bit of a fall from grace from one of our fans' favourites, but Jason Cummings is away on loan to Luton Town, which is a bit of a drop down for him. There was a lot of people, including myself, who would have been quite happy to bring him back for this season, but he's obviously not been playing that well, and he's been loaned out by his parent club, so we'll just have to wait and see. But some ex-players on the move there.
Yeah. Well, who gives a fuck about ex-players when we've got our own current players to talk about here? So, yep. A few other ones here I've got is 19-year-old Aidan McAdams has joined Annan on loan until the end of the season. Jamie Barjonas has joined Wraith again on loan until the end of the season after...
Another player with great potential, Derek.
Yep. He was loaned out to Bury at the end of at the start of the season. Zach Rudden initially recalled from his loan at Falkirk, but then we've loaned him back out again, back to them till the end of the season.
He's a top goal scorer as well.
Yep. Miles Bierman joins Gurza United on loan, another Maltese team. He had been on loan at Burkaka, another Maltese team again, but they terminated the loan, so can't see him coming back, to be honest. And we did have New Zealand international keeper who came on trial. I don't have his name actually, but he was a 27-year-old keeper who was playing for Vancouver Whitecaps. He was only on trial for a week, and we've heard nothing else. But I'm guessing because we've signed Andy Firth then, but nothing's going to go forward there. The only other things I've got in terms of transfers here is Morelos was allegedly a target for Nice, who were floating around a fee of £8 million, and that same fee was rumoured to be what Southampton were wanting to pay for Tavernier, but no official bids came forward, I don't think, and Gerrard was asked about both of them, I think, and ultimately said, you would need to pay at least double for each of them. So
yeah,
I think
I'm pleased with that, Derek, because I think it's always in the back of your mind when we've got a player as good as Morelos and Tav that there might be people sniffing about, but it looks as if that's been fended off, and well played by Steven Gerrard, who basically ruled it out straight away. So because, as you say, there was a few murmurings and rumours going about that there was clubs coming in, but that's never came to anything, which I'm delighted about.
Yep. A couple of transfers. Well, it's not even transfers. It's basically a couple of posts that have been filled in the coaching staff that our former player, and he was currently the head of the intermediate academy, Stephen Wright, has actually left his post and to join Dundee as their head of youth development. So good luck there. And
good for him, mate.
Yep, Kevin Thompson has been appointed a full-time position as assistant under-18s coach. He had been previously a part-time with the under-13s to under-15s as well, so great move for him as well. Hopefully he's still able to keep his own academy going, because that seems to have been going good there. And Gregory Vignal has moved to assistant with the under-18s and under-16s at the Hummel Training Centre as well, so good to see. And another thing in relation to the youths is that the Rangers Youth Development Company has handed over a cheque for £400,000 to the Youth Academy. So fantastic piece of news that as well, to reinvest in the youth department.
Yep, brilliant.
Yep. And the last piece of kind of footballing news here I've got is Lee McCulloch is set to become the first team technical coach for Dundee United. So, boo, that's all I can say.
Aye, a lot of fans are a bit unhappy that he's done that, but he's got to go. He's got to, he's got to make a living. I suppose it's just a pity. It's got to be one of the clubs that we hate the most. Apart from sort of Celtic and Aberdeen, it's probably the team that we hate the most after that. But aye, we'll leave that there. It's we wish Lee McCulloch, all the luck in the world, but maybe just knowing that one there.
Just a couple other bits I've actually just forgot about there is that, bit of a strange one this, Joseph Malumbu, former Kilmarnock player who then signed for Celtic, has been loaned back to Kilmarnock until the rest of the season. So an interesting development that, I think. He was a good player for Kilmarnock, obviously done bugger all at Celtic, but it's strange that they would loan him back to a team that they're technically challenging in the league. And St Mirren have apparently signed a player with a great name, Duckins Nazon.
Quality.
Brilliant name.
Duckins Nazon.
Yep. And
it still doesn't beat the one Heart and Hand made famous though, Derek, of Kermit Erasmus. That's definitely still got to be the best name of all time for a footballer, but there you go.
So this is definitely the last piece of football news I've got here. Obviously, over the last couple of days, Neil Lennon had got suspended and he has been sacked. Oh no, he hasn't. He's resigned. No, that's not right either. He's left by mutual agreement. So try and work that out. Hibernian statement, I don't know if you've seen it, Dave. It was just bizarre. I mean, we get slagged off for some of our statements for being concomitant and all that kind of shit. But no, the official line is Neil Lennon had left the club, not been sacked, and he has not resigned. So I don't understand how he's left then. Try and work that out, please.
Derek, I'm quite surprised that there's not been a sectarian element put on this, to be perfectly honest with you, or Rangers to be at fault for some reason for Neil Lennon leaving, because let's be honest, that's usually when it comes to Neil Lennon, it's either sectarian or something to do with Rangers that gets him into bother, isn't it? That's usually the excuse, but absolutely bizarre one there. We'll wait and see if we actually hear about what's happened. There's been a lot of rumours, there's been a lot of things being said about what's supposedly happened and what's not happened, but absolutely bizarre. And as you say, the statement was just one of them. It was a complete clusterfuck. Nobody knew what was happening. They could have just put a blank statement out, Derek, basically saying Neil Lennon has left, and that's probably about as good as what the statement was that they gave out as well. Absolutely bizarre, but cheerio, Neil. Yeah, well, certainly there's a few jobs floating about and a few probably going to come on the market within Scotland, but certainly from our point of view, Scottish football will not miss you and your greeting me face, put it that way. So that's about as polite as I can be at this point with it about him. So it's very polite, actually. So, woman caught hiding 4 stolen Rolex watches worth $108,000 inside her vagina. Please tell me they were in bags, Derek.
A woman has been arrested after she allegedly stole 5 Rolex watches from her date, hiding 4 of them inside her vagina.
Wait a minute. Well, she was with her date or on a date.
Well, this is where the story's going.
So she was going out with a guy that was wearing 5 Rolex watches.
Well, I'll get into it, Dave. Calm down.
Sorry,
down.
mate, sorry. Right, on you go.
Della Juria, if that wasn't bad enough, Della Juria Brookins, aged 29, from northeast Miami-Dade, met businessman Ramon Diaz last Tuesday night on January the 8th in a club before heading back to his hotel room. See, that's where the Rolex watches come in, Dave.
Right, okay.
The night didn't really go to plan, for him at least, as Brookins allegedly made a run for it with 5 of his watches valued $108,000. While Diaz freshened up in the bathroom, preparing the night's antics, Brookins got down and dirty in a slightly different way than he was expecting. When the businessman came out of the bathroom, he noticed that his date had disappeared along with a Crown Royal whiskey bag containing 5 Rolex watches. Diaz wasn't letting the alleged thief escape that easily though. He then reportedly ran after his date and tried to stop her when he saw the bag inside her purse. As she hailed a taxi outside, Diaz demanded his watches back. However, Brookins was determined to keep hold of the goods and allegedly hit him over the head with an unknown object.
Right.
All this happened and a hotel employee called the police who attended the scene immediately. Upon the search of the surrounding area, they found Brookins in a nearby alley. During the arrest, officers could only find 1 of the stolen Rolexes and couldn't find the other 4, despite conducting a search of the area. Once inside the police car, Brookins, who has a tattoo on her left arm that reads "whore," spat, banged her head against the window and bit the officers, police say. The woman was charged on the Wednesday with grand theft, resisting an officer with violence, possessing cocaine and battery. She was also charged with criminal mischief after she urinated on the floor of her holding cell. So where were the other stolen... I know. Right. So where were the other stolen watches then? Well, this is where it gets interesting, because during a strip search, corrections officers had discovered that Brookins had hidden them inside her vagina.
I thought you were going to say she farted and an alarm went off.
Oh.
But here's the question though, Derek. Who in their right mind has books himself in a hotel and has 5 Rolex watches with him for a night out?
I think there's more to the whole story, to be honest, than that what the report's letting on. I guess that she's not a fully upstanding member of the community. Maybe I don't know where
you're getting that from, because her tattoos clearly show that she was dead.
Maybe she was, what she was professing on her tattoo. Maybe that's how they met.
She was maybe a Rolex dealer, Derek, and she was taking them in to get them inspected.
Aye. Taking them in where?
Exactly. Another bizarre Derek story.
Yes. So that wraps up the podcast for tonight. As ever, you can check us out if you just go straight to our website, which is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com. That'll give you all the links to all our other social media sites, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, PodBean, the whole kit and caboodle.
The whole shebang, yeah.
Yes. You can also find links directly to episodes past and previous, that's the same bloody thing. Past episodes, you can find out information about each episode as well, and if you go into the episode page, you can also see what games we have covered in terms of post-match reaction, because the links are in the title of the matches that were in the episodes. So, all singing, all dancing website right there.
Fantastic.
So, obviously, a couple of games to come. Dave and I will be back at some point, hopefully soon, and we will cover the next bunch of matches. So, all we can say now is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Yes, take care, folks, and we will be back soon.
Bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white, and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.